and then we would just go to church every now and again. You know what I'm saying? But there was never no foundation of Jesus Christ or walking or living. There was never no example of anybody in my family living for Christ or being born again. Um, Single parent household, you know what I'm saying, and um, two other brothers in the household, and my dad. I had a bunch of other brothers on my dad's side. Um, when I when I got when I turned 18, I um I moved from where my mom was at, the city I was at in Warren, Ohio, near Youngstown, Ohio. Um, and I moved to Springfield, Ohio, where I was born at, and I was about to, try to get a job and all that good stuff. And I ended up getting a job that was I was making $7 an hour standing up for 8 hours a day, and that lasted 2 days, man. And I just was like, listen,
I
I
don't really there.
yeah, man, I can't do this. And so I my cousin, he was hustling at the time, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna do what you be doing, man. Like, and so I started hustling, selling crack when I was 18 on a bike, riding around the neighborhood selling crack. And so that's how like my life started as far as my adult life. I had a job, what I'm saying? I ended up getting a different job, but I was hustling as well. And so when I was about 20, my cousin, who I was like, that's like my brother, LP, he got locked up. And he was one I used to hustle with and stuff. He got locked up. And my older cousin, a bigger cousin who used to supply us with the drugs, he got locked up. And
Hmm.
so they were in prison, and then I was, on my own. I ended up me and my cousin at first. So what made me start selling drugs? Like my aunt was like threatening to send me back because, the bills were coming, and I was making 7 an hour, and it just, it just wasn't enough, man. And
Hmm.
so that's what made me want to start hustling. And then me and my cousin, we got our own place, and we was just doing our thing, hustling all that good stuff. And um, so I used to rap. I had been rapping since I was 14, but I had never really put nothing out. And so when my cousin got
Oh,
locked up, I really started taking rap serious. And I moved to this little studio apartment. I remember I was paying 365 a month for this little studio apartment way out north in Springfield, Ohio. And
wow.
that's when I started rapping. Like I bought a mic and I just started rapping. And then I put out, I was like letting a couple people hear it. And then some people was like, "Yo, I'm trying to get with you with this rapping stuff, man." And a couple people joined in with me with the rap stuff. Then my cousin got out of prison, and then we was we start rapping and stuff like that. And then, but while my cousin was locked up, I started drinking heavy.
Hmm.
It started off where I would buy a 40 ounce. I'm only 20 at the time, but they ain't carting in the hood. I was go to these stores, little corner stores, get my drink.
Oh, wow.
And so I started drinking. It started off where it started to be like every night I would be drinking. And then that it turned into, my cousin got out, and then I found myself still drinking. Then it started to increase where it would be like I was drinking probably like 4 or 5 nights uh uh out of the week. And then it turned into started to be every night I'm drinking. Then down the
Hmm.
line, started to be, now I'm starting to drink in the afternoon. Now I'm drinking in the morning. And so by the time I turned 24, I was like, what I'm saying, I was a full fledged, like went from a pint a day of alcohol, then it ended up being a lot of days, a fifth a day by myself. And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And so I'm drinking and I'm starting to see my life kind of shift. We rapping and all that, and we started to do shows. I got my little crew, and we getting a little bit of notoriety in the city and a couple other cities outside of, in Ohio. And then
Hmm.
I started um, I started to look at myself like I have my stepmom, my dad's ex-wife, who she used to work part time in the grocery store where the liquor store was at. and she would be
Mm-hmm.
in there, and she would start to see me in there like all the time, and she used to like be ask me like, "You all right? Like you be in here quite a bit." But so I started to like see myself like, yo, this is not who I signed up to be. But I
Right.
always tell myself, I once I make it with rapping and get rich, I'll be good. I'll stop doing it. But long story short, I started to like feel this like feel myself being someone that I never a person that I didn't know. And so messing with all type of females, partying and just getting drunk, getting high. And I started to it started to really get bad to where I was like kind of, lashing out at my friends and just having strange behavior, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so um I went and like talked to like a therapist type of person. And I never forget, this lady was like supposed to help me, and I'm explaining to her like what's going on in my mind. And I used to have these nightmares and just all type of stuff, man. And I remember she started crying like I'm like, man, you supposed to be helping me, and she was crying. Like that's just something I remember. And then I stopped. The weed started to like turn on me real crazy. I started having these bad highs. I used to drink and smoke all the time, and then I started just drinking a lot because the weed wasn't. The weed started to turn on me. Not like I said, I had got up to about a fifth a day, and then one day I was it was 420 2013. I was riding around with my homie Chad, and I used to sell weed, so I had it on me all the time. And I'm like, look, we're gonna smoke. Well, we smoking. It's 420 National Smoke Day, and
Right.
Saturday afternoon I had a show that night, and so I got to smoking, and then I had this bad like high to where literally felt like I was losing my mind, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? I couldn't think of nothing to do but to go to my grandma Debbie's church on my dad's side, which, like I said, I would go to there every now and again, maybe once every 3 years for Easter. And
Right.
so I was just like, I went in there. I just something told me to go there. I know now it was the Holy Spirit leading me there, but I went, and the pastor just happened to be walking out, and it was just her, and she was about to shut down the church. And I'm like, listen, can I go in here? Like, there's something going on with me. I just want to talk to God. Because at the time I believed in God, I just didn't believe in the Bible or Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There was a time where I was riding, smoking weed, and talking to my mom and my cousin. We was on our way to Youngstown from Springfield, and I'm like thinking I'm dropping knowledge. Like, why y'all worship Jesus? He's just a man. Like, why do people worship Jesus?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I worship God. It's only one God. Like, you know what I mean? So, just to give you a little background of where my mind was, I had been reading, like, I had been trying to like find some sort of peace because of what I was struggling with. And I had been like looking up different religions, and my homeboy gave me a book called The Kabbalion, and it was like this crazy, they had these crazy beliefs about God. They called God the All, and it was like there was no such thing as evil. It's just like one polar opposites, and so just this weird doctrine. And I
Mm.
remember that stuff started to mess with my mind, and I think that was a part of what led to that day. But anyway, I go into church. Excuse me. I go into church, and I said, "Can I go in here and pray?" She said, "You want me to go with you?" I said, "No, I just want to go talk to God." I go and I said, "God, what's wrong with me?" And I heard her voice tell me to surrender. And then I just started crying and like just shaking in that church
Mm.
because I literally felt like I literally lost control of my mind before that. And then
Right.
she came and she prayed for me, and then I left and I went to Goodwill and I bought a Bible for $1. And that's how my walk started.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Powerful. Powerful testimony. Powerful way to start walking with God. You know, the
Amen.
fact that you the fact that you heard a voice that just told you to surrender and you just let it out. That speaks volumes.